All right. Good morning and welcome back. It's the Avid Investor Podcast with me, your host, Josh Adamek. And today we are on episode 61. And I'm going to talk about staying in your lane and the importance of what I feel the importance is of staying in your lane and focusing on one thing and doing it very, very well. But before we get into that, I just wanted to cover a couple of housekeeping things, or one housekeeping thing. I'm at my office where I always record. Might be a little noisy today. Hopefully not, because it's also an active construction zone. We're getting new sidewalks and they're milling and paving the parking lot. So as of right now, they're down the hill and out back, around back. Hopefully it's not going to get too loud. But nonetheless, I just wanted to throw that out there. So hopefully it doesn't mess us up during the recording here. So that's that. But here we are. We're Monday, another week back at it. We're going to hit it hard, hit it strong, crush the week, and I hope you guys do too. I just want to say we had a great weekend. My kids made their first Holy Communion, which is a big milestone for them. In the faith and in the Catholic faith, and they've been really working towards this and looking forward to it, and they were able to receive their first Holy Communion over the weekend, and it was great. Beautiful ceremony at the church with all the other kids all dressed up, ready to go, and then we had a little get together with the family at the house afterwards, and a little lunch, and that was it. Other than that, it was a great weekend. Spent a lot of time with the family and the kids, and they got to play with their friends and do their thing and do kids stuff. So all in all, it was a great weekend. But here we are. We're Monday. We're rolling, and gonna get back to it. Gonna get into it, I guess. So as far as the message for today, I wanted to talk about staying in your lane. So something that came to mind the other day, when I'm thinking about business and the importance of focusing on one thing and doing one thing very, very well. So you see this often, like all these social media quote unquote gurus with their Lamborghinis and their big chains and all the ridiculous stuff. Talking about multiple streams of income and how you need multiple streams of income and how you gotta do this and do that, and you've got 168 hours in the week and you can run all these businesses, when in reality, my opinion, take it for what it's worth, but some of my closest friends and mentors, and myself included, that are very successful, that operate on a very high level, that run a successful business, typically do one thing and do that one thing very, very, very well, as far as systems, processes, procedures, focus, action, repeat. If regardless of what business you're in, regardless of what industry you're in, if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you have, a product or a service that you offer, if you just do that one thing and do it very, very well over and over and over again, take a look at the results that you would get from that, as opposed to doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. And I see it time and time again in real estate, especially. Somebody gets into the business and they say, oh, I'm going to start flipping houses. Well, first off, I've talked about this, previously, where, a lot of people, like, you see it on TV, there's all these ridiculous shows. You see it on social media, people flipping houses and make it look so easy because you're judging yourself. You're judging someone based off of the highlight reel, right? Whether it's a TV show or social media or whatever, you're all you see is the highlight reel. You don't see what actually goes into it. So, a lot of people get into flipping houses because they think that's something easy to do. Well, first off, if you don't have a general understanding, I'm not saying you have to be a contractor, but if you don't understand construction, and the flow and the process and what it takes to renovate or rehab a house, you have no business flipping a house, right? I'm not saying you need to be a general contractor. I'm not saying you need to know how to do every step along the way. I'm not saying you need to know how to rewire a house. You have to know how to replumb a house. You have to know how framing works and um, I'm not saying you need to actually know how to do every aspect of the job, but you have to have a general understanding of how it works and what orders to follow and what stuff costs and what it takes. What needs done, what doesn't need done when it comes to renovating a house. Because you know in reality, like you can't take a contractor's word for it, right? Like you can't just go out and hire a general contractor and say renovate this house for me, because a general contractor, they understand construction, right? Most understand construction, and some are very very good at it. But that doesn't mean that general contractor will know or will guide you properly from a cost analysis and underwriting and everything to what needs done on that renovation project and what doesn't need done, right? um so yeah, if you get into that side of the business, you need to understand construction. You have to have a basic understanding. So let's just say we get past that. You get past that. Okay, I'm going to start flipping houses. So now you're buying houses. Now you're flipping houses. So and then you hear like all this social media stuff. Oh, multiple streams of income. I need multiple streams of income. And you're like, oh, well, I'm flipping houses. So, I might as well start a construction company, right? So then you decide to go out and start a construction company, or vice versa. You're a contractor and you're working for someone that's, renovating and flipping houses. So you decide to go flip the houses yourself. Well, not staying in your lane there, right? So let's just take the first example where you're a general, you're flipping houses, and I need multiple streams of income. You keep hearing, so you decide to go start a construction company. Well, what do you know about running a construction company, right? Right? Sure, you can go get you can go file the paperwork and get the license and get the GC number. But what do you know about running a construction company? What do you know about managing people, right? How do you know if you don't truly understand the business and know the business and have the experience in that field, you have no business owning a construction company. So you start flipping houses, then you start a construction company. Oh, it's like, well, I'm selling these houses and I could save on the commission if I just get my license and list and sell these homes myself. And then before you know it, you're becoming a real estate agent. So now you're a house flipper, you own a construction company, now you're a real estate agent. And what do you know about being a real estate agent? Can you learn all these things, and can you focus, and can you learn all these different aspects? Yes, absolutely you can. However, it goes back to stay in your lane. And if you focus on doing one thing and doing one thing very, very well, what do those results look like versus I'm going to do this, then I'm going to add this, then I'm going to add that, then I'm going to add that, and what I'm talking about with these multiple streams of income is active income, right? So you're the business owner that's flipping the houses. Then you want to own a construction company. Well, you have to manage that construction company and you have to run that company. And then you want to get your license and list the home. Well, that's going to take, because now you have to remarket and sell these homes. And so you're talking about adding all these multiple streams of income, which are multiple streams of active income, not multiple streams of passive income, right? So when I say I have friends and associates that do one thing and do one thing very, very well and do it over and over and over again, let's just say, what we do and, what other folks that are in the same business as me, we buy We buy regular houses in regular neighborhoods for the long-term cash flow. B-class neighborhoods is what we call the median price points for the Pittsburgh market. That's what we do. Regular houses, regular neighborhood. And we do that through equity partnerships. So we create equity partnerships. We go out, we buy single family homes, and we do it over and over and over and over again, right? So that's our bread and butter. That's our core business through Avid Management Group, is buying existing single family homes. And prior to starting getting into this equity model and creating Avid Management Group back in 2017, I was, doing a lot of this and that and the other thing. And what I realized is my time was so scattered. And if I just focused on doing one thing and doing one thing very, very well, I built my team around that here at Avid. And that's what we do. We buy existing single family homes for the long-term cash flow. We put residents in the homes that are, hopefully one day going to become a homeowner through our lease option program. So that's what we do. And we're very, very good at it. My team is very, very good at it. We have the management, we have the acquisitions, we have, we do some dispo when the residents become homeowners, or we decide to turn and, sell a property. We have some dispo, but that's what we do. Regular houses in regular neighborhoods. And we do one thing, and we do one thing very, very well. Do I look at other opportunities? Yes. As the business owner, I look at other opportunities. My team, however, is focused, very, very focused on doing one thing and doing one thing very, very well. So when we talk about that, staying in your lane, I've seen it time and time again where, contractors are hired to do, general contractors are hired to do a job, and then there's a relationship built with the investor, and they see what the investor's doing. And, of course, the grass is always greener on the other side. So general contractor decides to go out and buy their own projects, do this, do that, without fully understanding, the business, market cycles, timing, capital raise, placements, capital stacks, without fully understanding that, just really knowing the construction side. And then, I've seen it time and time again where they get in over their head, take on too many projects, take on too much, borrow too much money, over leverage properties, over leverage projects, because they don't fully understand, the finance, the money side of it. And, before you know it, they're out of business. And it happens all the time, where, if that general contractor would stay in their lane and just do construction, which they may have been very, very good at. Stay in their lane, focus, action, repeat. They could have built the construction company and, done very, very well there. But, they've decided to, take on the investment side, and the principal side, and then maybe the sales side, and try to build this big conglomerate of companies and of buckets, and you tend to lose focus, and you lose focus on the construction company, which was your bread and butter, which is what created your revenue in the first place. So, there's something to be said for keeping the main thing, right? And when it comes to, multiple streams of income. No, I'm not saying you should only do one thing and do that only one thing ever. What I'm saying is you have to balance, you have to understand that there's only so many hours in the day, and you gotta watch with adding, too many active income buckets to your business and to your portfolio. I have a friend in the construction world where, he kind of got scattered, and he was doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that, investing in other businesses, had other ventures that were completely outside of the construction world. And then, one day he realized it's like, wow, I'm really, not doing that great here. And then he did some repositioning. It took several months, maybe even a year and a half, but he kind of got rid of a lot of things, a lot of fluff, and got rid of a lot of things, and just focused on doing one thing in construction, not even just a general contractor. He just did one, that one product, one service offer. It was actually a couple of things that are tied together, but just focused on that one offering. And I mean, his company went through the roof. I mean, they're absolutely killing it. They last time I spoke to them, they were planning on doing, I don't know, a couple hundred jobs in a year, and they were almost double that of double of what his goal and projections were, because he focused on doing one thing and doing one thing very, very well. And that allowed him, keeping the main thing, and not, forgot about the multiple streams of income, and just did one thing and did that one thing very, very well. I've said it 3 or 4 times now, but just wanted to reinforce, what that meant to him and his business. So, when it comes to, when we talk about multiple streams of income, what multiple streams of income actually mean, or when they're beneficial, is when you can add multiple streams of passive income, not active income, passive income. So for example, you do your one thing and you do your one thing very, very well. Let's just say it's a construction company. Let's take my friend, for example, he's absolutely killing it right now. And, he's built the business up, and let's just say, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, he's continuing to blow his goals out of the water, and in a very good spot financially, and where he would be looking, or where someone in that position would be looking to add multiple streams of income, it would, in my opinion, the best thing to do is add multiple streams of passive income. And you don't have to go out and do 10 different things at once. Just add a little bucket here or there. And for example, that's what we do here at Avid is, we create equity partnerships, with our capital investors. Our capital investors are passive partners who we create it and manage a portfolio for them and with our capital investors. So that would be one option, investing in an equity partnership, and with any company, with any company that offers equity partnerships. You could go into a fund, you could go into a REIT, you could go, if you're into the stock market, you could invest in the stock market. I know, mentioned it a couple of times, but I'm very hesitant to talk about it, because I don't know much about it. But there's like the whole crypto world that a lot of people are pretty hot over. So when you do your one thing and you do one thing very, very well, and you have excess income, you can start sprinkling that excess income in your different multiple streams of income, your different passive investments. I know a few people that got into some franchises and that kind of thing. I mean, that's not for me. It's to me, I won't even get into that. Why a franchise isn't for me. But anyway, some couple of friends and associates I know have invested in franchises that were different, like fitness related and health related franchises. Some restaurant owners, fast food, things like that. But then, if you're doing that, if you're going to go out and buy a franchise or buy another business, do you have the time to manage that? And is that a passive investment? More oftentimes than not, that becomes a very active investment. So, and again, when you do that, then it takes away from the main thing, right? Keep the main thing the main thing. Stay in your lane is the message of this. Is the basis of this message. Stay in your lane, and keeping the main thing the main thing. So with that, that's pretty much my message for today. I just wanted to say that just recap one more time is that when you're a business owner, when you're an investor, you're an entrepreneur, um, don't get caught up in the hype and all the social media hype that you got to have multiple streams of income, that you got to have, 5, 10, 15 different streams of income. Just look at what you're doing and just say to yourself, like, this is my business and this is what I love. This is what I'm passionate about. Or, we're helping people, we're serving others, whatever the case may be, whatever has you passionate about, your business and what you're offering. Just think, if I if I get into this, or if I try to add this to what I'm currently doing, would that actually add to my business and my venture, or would that distract me from growing what I currently have? So, I have, like I said, I have several friends and mentors that just do run their business, and do something that's so simple and basic as, buying single family homes, or, whatever. And when I say it's simple and basic, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of work involved with acquiring single family homes, renovating them, finding the right families to move into the homes, and then the day-to-day management. There's a lot that's involved with that, and I'm not even suggesting that it's an easy business. However, when you have your systems and you have your team and you have your processes and procedures, it's it's just, it becomes very repetitive, right? To where it's, for us, because we've been doing it so long and we've done it so many times, it's very easy to go out and acquire the right single family homes, renovate them the right way, clean them up the right way, find good folks and families to move into these homes. And yes, we deal with some stuff on the management side, but like, you're always going to have stuff to deal with, right? But we know how to deal with those things properly. We have our systems, we have our processes, we have our procedures. So for us, it's focus, action, repeat. We do the same thing over and over and over and over again. And when I compare that to, buying a batch of single family homes, or, managing our current portfolio, and I compare that to, what other opportunities I may have, or whatever things I may get into, I'm like, I just always go back to the single family homes. Like, we've got something amazing here. I have something amazing here with the company and the team. And, certainly you could build that to, getting the right people in the right places, with the right processes and the right procedures. But for us, it's all about the single family homes. We stay in our lane. That's what we do. That's what we buy. That's what we keep and manage. And, we do very well for, for the team and for the families that live in our homes, and, our investment partners. It works out very, very well. So again, just a quick reminder to, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, right? So, whatever you're doing, or whatever you think you're going to do, whatever you're trying to do, just do, at least, when you're in startup phase, when you're in growth mode, just do one thing and do it one thing very, very well. And, more oftentimes than not, the results will be multiples of what your expectations are. So, if you tend to get too scatterbrained and too spread too thin, to where you have to have all these multiple streams of income, more oftentimes than not, and I've seen it time and time again, that just distracts you from the main thing, and that you tend to have all these little fires that you're constantly trying to put out, versus just focus on the main thing and do the main thing very, very well. So that's it. That's my message for today. Fortunately, they're still out in the parking lot here, ripping and milling and paving, but I don't think it was too loud. So hopefully that, you guys didn't hear that. That doesn't affect the recording here. But until the next time, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you can, just do me a favor, share this message, share this podcast, these recordings with somebody that you think can benefit from the message. And don't forget, hit me up. Let me know what you want me to talk about. I keep saying this over and over again, but the studio here in the other room at the office, we're getting there. It's just about done, and I'm going to start having some guests on, and we're going to start having more fun here. So, thank you so much. Have a great day, and thank you for tuning in.